On the evening of September 12th, 2015, the Valiant household in Mays Landing, New Jersey, appeared calm from the outside. Inside, however, tension quietly lingered. 18-year-old Tiffany Valiante, a gifted athlete, honor student, and openly gay teenager, had been involved in a minor disagreement with her family. It was not violent, it was not unusual, and it was certainly not the kind of argument that would foreshadow a tragedy. Tiffany stepped outside barefoot. She left behind her phone, her wallet, her glasses, and her shoes. According to her family, this alone made no sense. Tiffany was extremely nearsighted and never went anywhere without her glasses. She had future plans, college ambitions, and no documented history of depression or suicidal ideation. Shortly after she left, surveillance footage captured Tiffany walking calmly along a nearby rural road. The footage would later become one of the most haunting elements of the case. She did not appear distressed. She was not running. She did not look like someone fleeing danger. She simply walked into the darkness. What happened next is where certainty ends. Less than a mile from where Tiffany was last seen lies an active railway line, used frequently by high-speed trains throughout the night. 6 days later, Tiffany's body was discovered along those tracks. Authorities quickly ruled her death a suicide, concluding that she was struck by a train. But from the very beginning, the official explanation raised more questions than answers. No train operator reported hitting a person that night. In railway incidents involving pedestrians, conductors almost always feel the impact or notice an emergency alert. In Tiffany's case, no such report exists. Even more concerning, investigators were unable to identify exactly which train allegedly struck her. The condition of Tiffany's body further complicated the narrative. According to family-hired experts, her injuries did not fully match those typically associated with high-speed train impacts. There was limited blood spatter in the area. No significant biological material was found on passing trains. Despite these inconsistencies, the suicide ruling was made quickly. The Valiant family was devastated, not only by the loss of Tiffany, but by how swiftly the case appeared to be closed. Requests for additional testing, deeper forensic analysis, and expanded surveillance review were denied or delayed. To her family, it felt like Tiffany had vanished twice, once into the night, and again into a system unwilling to ask harder questions. In the weeks following Tiffany Valiante's death, her family began examining the investigation more closely, and what they discovered disturbed them deeply. Key surveillance footage from nearby homes and businesses had either not been collected or had been overwritten before review. Cell tower data that could have established Tiffany's movements in her final hours was never fully analyzed. Witness statements suggesting a dark vehicle near the tracks that night were reportedly logged but not pursued. The medical examiner's findings became another major point of contention. While the official report concluded that Tiffany died from blunt force trauma consistent with a train strike, independent forensic experts later questioned the absence of extensive tissue damage and the lack of train residue typically present in such cases. The Valiant family requested a reclassification of the manner of death. That request was denied. What troubled them most was not a single piece of evidence, but the pattern. Decisions appeared rushed, leads were dropped, alternative explanations were dismissed without thorough examination. As public interest grew, online communities began analyzing the case independently. Theories ranged from accidental death to foul play. Some speculated that Tiffany may have encountered someone after leaving her home. Others questioned whether she was placed near the tracks after her death. Authorities, however, remained firm. The case was closed. The family filed legal challenges, demanded transparency, and spoke publicly about their concerns. Still, no reinvestigation was ordered. No new evidence was tested. No independent review was conducted. Today, Tiffany Valiante's case exists in a troubling space between official resolution and unresolved truth. Legally, it is closed. Emotionally and logically, it remains wide open. For families of the missing and unexplained, Tiffany's story represents something larger, a warning about how quickly conclusions can replace careful investigation. The question that lingers is not just what happened to Tiffany Valiante. It is whether the full truth was ever truly pursued.